wish someone had pulled me aside and told me these things before I started my wedding cake business. If I could go back now and give myself advice, these are the things that I would say. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to go through my top 5. In my last video, I went through 6 through 10, so make sure that you catch that. So that's what I'm sharing with you today so that you don't have to waste the time that I wasted trying to figure it out on my own, because I'm sure there's someone out there trying to figure it out on their own just like I did. Hi, I'm Jennifer Williamson, and I help wedding cake makers run profitable, sustainable, enjoyable wedding cake businesses. And we use aligned marketing. We use my smart strategies that I have, these frameworks that I've come up with over the last 28 years, and the mindset tools that it requires to really run a successful and enjoyable business. So thanks for being here. So like I said, if you didn't catch the last video, that's what I did, 6 through 10. But today we're going to do the top 5, the real nitty gritty. So thanks for being here. Here we go. Let's get into it. Okay, number 5 is relationships are where your best leads are coming from. Okay, so when we start this business, we automatically, naturally think that we're going to bring a cake to a wedding and everyone at that wedding is going to rave about it and we're going to get all that business from it, right? Well, you might get 1 or 2, but that's really not where the business comes from. Because if you think about it, if we bring a beautiful cake to a wedding and there's 150 people there, those 150 people aren't getting married necessarily. I mean, some of them might, but those aren't all our ideal clients. There might be 1 or 2, but you can't be guaranteed that. And they also have to take the next step of going back and finding out who made that cake, if they even remember it at that point. Okay, so it's really the other wedding vendors. That's where all the really good leads come from, because these are the people that already trust you and you've already kind of been vetted. Okay, so think about it. If you are if you go to the doctor and your doctor says you have to have surgery, well, you're not going to go out and try to find your own surgeon because you don't know. You've never had surgery before. How would you know how to pick? So what are you going to do? You're naturally going to get referrals from your doctor because they're the ones that have worked with these people and they already trust them. So it's the same thing. So it's really the relationships, and this is what lends itself to the long-term success in your business, because these are the referrals you're going to get year after year, decade after decade, and I'm proof of that. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 4 is your own style is your superpower. Now, we are people pleasers at heart, right? We make food for a living. It's a part of us. It comes from our need to nurture, because when you make food for a living, it's a very vulnerable part of you. So of course you want to make people happy. And how do we do that? We make people happy by doing everything that they want us to do, right? So you do every design that they want, and you try to nail every single kind of design down, kind of flavor, every single thing that people want, and you're running around doing everything for everybody, and you're really not pleasing anybody. So, and this happened to me. This is how I know. When I first started, the Mad Hatter cakes were popular. I don't know if you've seen those, but they're like all different colors. They're leaning over. They're just not even, I hated making them. They weren't even pretty. I didn't even think they were pretty. But I was making them because that's what people wanted. And then once I stepped back and learned how to develop my own style, which was completely different from that, I started to attract the people that really appreciated that style, and they would come to me for that, and then I became known as that. So once I niched down and started making what I wanted to make and what I thought was beautiful and unique, and I showed the world what I did, that's when my business really took off, and that's where I became known as a designer. Okay, so people pleasing is not where it's at. You have to, you have to develop your own style, and that's something that we do inside of my program. That's a big part of it, is really finding what makes you stand out. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 3 is saying no is a game changer. And again, it's so hard for us. I know that, because we're people pleasers. And don't even tell me you're not. Somehow, somewhere deep down you are, because otherwise you would be doing a job way easier than this. So what happens is we say yes to little jobs that we don't really want to do. Now you're doing birthday cakes that you want to do instead of wedding cakes, and this happened to me too. And it still happens every now and then, but once you learn how to say no, once you break the seal, I promise you it's a lot easier than the first time. But what you have to do is you have to look at your business and you have to figure out what's profitable, what do you enjoy, what are you good at, what really feeds your soul. And then when you start doing those things and eliminating the other stuff and being strong about eliminating those other things, that's when your business is fun. It doesn't feel like work. You don't ever dread going into the kitchen because everything that you're doing, you know that you're going to be proud of, and you know that it's a part of you. Okay, so there's that. Number 2, making money does not mean that you are successful. Again, we all go into this thinking like you want to make profits, but what you have to do is you really have to figure out what your business means to you. So for me, well, actually all of us, we know we can make a hell of a lot more money doing something other than making wedding cakes. Making wedding cakes is a hard job. And I remember one of my friends said that to me. He was like, boy, you really picked a hard job. I'm like, yeah, I did. I have to make the cake. Well, first you have to get the job. Then you have to make the cake in a short period of time. And then you have to make it into this beautiful piece of art. And then you have to take care of it because it's perishable. And then you have to drive it to where it's going to go, and then you have to hope everyone liked it because you're never going to see it again. So it's not easy, and then we do it week after week after week, so it's not, and you have time constraints. So it's not an easy job, but when you figure out your version of success and you figure out what you really want the business for and what it's going to give you, that's when you're successful. So for me, what my business gave me was freedom, and I was able to support my household. I was able to raise my girls only on my wedding cake income, and I was able to live my life, and I am able to live my life on my terms, and that to me is success. That is, I don't care, I mean, obviously we want to make money and we need to make money and things like that, but making a lot of money was not the first thing that I wanted to do. I mean, when I first started, I did, but then once I realized, like, wait a minute, I'm running myself ragged, making 1 million cakes, and I don't even have time to spend the money I'm making because I'm working all the time. So once I realized that it was really freedom to live my life on my terms, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I made it. So once you develop, or once you figure out what your version of success is, that's when you can build your business according to your lifestyle and build your lifestyle around your business, so they mesh into one thing so that you never feel like you're working, okay? And that's really what success is, right? Think about it, to just work and have a business that does not even feel like work, okay? And my number one thing that I learned the hard way, unfortunately, is that time is more valuable than anything. And what do I mean by this? I mean, we've all suffered loss. We've all gone through, whatever heartaches that we've gone through, but time is the one thing that you can't get back. And I say that because I truly, wholeheartedly wish that I knew these things beforehand, because I could have gotten to where I am now a lot sooner. And now I'm 58 years old. I'm in the Q4 of my life, or Q3 or Q4. My friend and I were battling which one it was. But I'm in the last quarter of my life to really be able to enjoy it, to really be able to do the things I love to do and travel and spend time with friends and family and things like that. So I spent my 20s working constantly, and my 30s working constantly, and building this business. But if I had the tools in place, if I knew now what I knew then, I could have done it a lot sooner. And time, like I said, is the one thing that you can't get back, and you really don't want to trade that for anything. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, my top 5 things that I wish I knew sooner. And if any of this is hitting home with you, this is what I teach inside of my program. It's not just, we don't even teach anything about decorating cakes. It's all the business part, and it's all how to live your life around this beautiful, passionate thing that we do. and how to make it work for you, and how to make it, work with the relationships and children and everything else that's going on around you. So if you do want to learn more about that, the wait list is open for my program that is coming out August 2025. So if you want to be on that wait list, I'll put it in the description. And like I said, catch the last video of the 6 through 10. And again, if any of this is resonating with you, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.